She works at a school that had to install a litter box in the girls' room.
Tulsi Gabbard. I almost don't even want to. She has a new show, but don't acknowledge it. But look at this. So Pac-Man tweeted this out. That's really interesting. New logo that Tulsi Gabbard has for her new podcast, which launched yesterday. Oh, huh. Interesting. It's the same. It's like almost the exact same font. The straight show, and then the name on a bit of a slant, in almost the exact same, if not the exact same font. Oh, Jesus. The grifting is super hard with her. I just got done watching Aaron Brown's new video, Tulsi Gabbard on Joe Rogan's show. It is some of the stupidest Joe Rogan I've ever seen.
My friend, his wife, is a school teacher, and she works at a school that had to install a litter box in the girls' room because there is a girl who's a furry who identifies as an animal, and her mother badgered the school until they agreed to put a litter box in one of the stalls.
Yeah.
This is not true. There are several options, or maybe there are several potential reasons behind this. First of all, there is this debunked story. I don't know how many times this has to be debunked, but debunked story of litter boxes in classrooms. Claim about litter boxes in New York school is unfounded. And this is now spread, many people now talking about this. These litter boxes in the classroom. So debunked, not true. But let's say in Joe's case, he's in Texas. That he has first. Notice how all these stories are like, it's a friend of a friend of a friend. That's who told me this. But let's say there are several reasons behind this. One, his friend is lying. Two, there is no friend. He just saw this headline and thought to personalize it. Three, his friend's wife is lying. Four, there actually is a litter box and it's being done by the kids to fuck with the teachers, which is a potential because of, how funny Gen Z is with their comedy. So that's definitely potential. But this idea that it's a real problem. Why aren't any politicians making this a part of the platform? We have to ban litter boxes in the classroom. It's gone too far. So dumb. And how about this? Let's grant him everything in the world. Let's say this is true. They had to put a litter box in the classroom. The kid, pisses in the litter box, takes a shit in the litter box in the classroom? Really? That's what they do there? But let's say there's a litter box sitting in the classroom. How does that affect anybody's life? Even though would be ridiculous, clearly, obviously, very stupid, why would you entertain any thought or any idea of doing that? But let's say it is there. How is this a topic of conversation from the right? Don't they have anything else to talk about? This is so stupid. All right, folks, I have a bit of an update to this story. I'm shooting this the morning after. Yes, I'm still wearing the same shirt. Don't judge me. It turns out that I was wrong. So I'm going to get back to the rest of the video that I shot during that live stream, but let me show you this. So I put out on Twitter yesterday this story about, Joe Rogan and these litter boxes, saying, is there a nicer way to say shit for brains? Because I'm struggling here with the AP News story debunking the claim. Just worth pointing out that somebody does have a better way to say it. Kaka Cranium, deranged shaman here. Kaka Cranium, nicer way to say shit for brains. But it turns out I was wrong. I got to admit it. I was wrong. Aaron Breed here replying to my tweet saying, David, I would like to point out that some districts have bought litter boxes and buckets for their students in case of a school shooting. But that's an issue for another day. So this is a story from 2019 from Insider here. It appears this one school did buy litter boxes but not because some kid identifies as a cat, but because of how constant and common school shootings are. They figured they would prepare and have a place for kids to go in case there was a prolonged lockdown caused by an active shooter or bomb threat. Maybe an issue that Rogan should discuss, considering his unwavering support of guns. But anyways, last thing here before I get back to the video, Brock, another reply here saying students record every second of every day. A fight breaks out and there are 15 angles with astute commentary, but there's conveniently 0 pictures of installed litter boxes. They don't even have the motivation to stage it. Great point, which goes again to, I think this is completely made up, and it's possible all of this bullshit stemmed from this one story years ago. But let's get back to the video. But this is, this podcast is just completely unwatchable. I don't know how anybody gets through an episode of this shit now. I used to watch Rogan years ago, from like 2012 to like 2016, about there. And even and some episodes after that, if like, Bernie Sanders was on or Kyle Kalinske was on, I'd watch. But the vast majority of guests from what I've seen for the past several years are people that are clearly on the right. If they're political guests, clearly on the right. And if they're not, it's like once every few months, they'll be on, when was the last time that Kyle was even on? Like a year ago? I don't know. It's been a while, but he was on, Packman was on like 2 years ago. Empire Files, they were both on maybe a year ago. I don't know, but it's not, that isn't what the vast majority of these conversations are. And it is just complete nutso trash. And, I'm starting to think that this podcast has less and less of an influence. Like maybe it has, I'm sure it has a massive audience still. It's on Spotify. It's like their lead podcast. But in terms of any influence that it may have over people, at this point, they had to have reached their limit, right? The amount of people that can be sucked into this trash, because there just isn't, an infinite amount of people that are going to be taken in by this. People, I think, generally are a little more aware, question things a little more, and maybe also, even if they don't question this, maybe aren't all that concerned with an issue that doesn't affect their life at all. But I don't know. He could have gone a very different way. Someone mentioned on here, where did I just see it? If like, Comrade says he needs to debate Sam. Yeah, apparently him and Sam were having like email conversations like, a few years ago, and there was a chance for Sam Cedar to go on the show, and then I guess he didn't. But, if that had happened, if Michael Brooks had gone on, there is a potential for a different version of Rogan. But even then, Rogan's had on Bernie Sanders, he's had on Kyle, and this is, he resorts to, his most animalistic urges to just be taken in by the stupidest garbage that exists and making that a big issue while ignoring the actual major issues that are facing people. But as somebody who was so disconnected, now incredibly, he was wealthy before, but now we're talking 100 millionaire money, very disconnected. It's, I don't think you're going to get back the old Joe. Not that he was ever perfect, but he was a guy that had good conversations at one point. And anyone who didn't watch him before, you may think I'm crazy, but no, go back to like 2012, he had on Cenk, Anna Kasparian years ago. They had good conversations. His brain is just Swiss cheese now. Like something's happened. He has shit for brains. I don't know, but whatever. It's done. He's done.